Yo, 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 what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back welcoming you to Answering the Bell with Stormybman for this Sunday morning, August 1st, 2021. We are out of July and into August, and we are here with another call-in show. This is call-in show number 3 for those who are keeping count. And it seems to me that this particular platform has been well received. So for the foreseeable future, we're going to add this into the the rotation of what Stormybman does on his channel. So welcome one, welcome all. Glad to see that we got some people out there fresh and ready this morning. We've had a big day of boxing yesterday, a lot of fights in a lot of hours. For those who hung tight through the entire broadcast from the DAZN cards that started in, depending on where you are, for me, it was here the early afternoon on into the evening where Fox and FS1 had their PBC broadcast. So it was a long day of boxing. I enjoyed it. Lots of action taking place. A few changes in bouts that were originally scheduled, but the cards went on, fights went on, and we had an entertaining evening of boxing. So I hope that everybody has had a pleasant weekend as we come in and get ready to kind of talk on the sport. We'll go over some issues, concerns, things that we've heard in the news. And when we take the calls, we hope that you keep your calls clean and respectful, and also keep a mind and eye and ear toward various topics that we can discuss on the air, because this will be an opportunity for me to interact with you when you call in and give your take on something, or ask some questions, or I ask you guys questions. It's all a reciprocity when we do this thing here. Want to start off by greeting some people who are out there in the chat already. We had Mr. Padzor out there. He says, "Salute Stormy. This is one of my favorite shows on YouTube. Great show concept with people calling in. And I also enjoyed Copper Aborigines call in from last week." Yeah, so did I. And I haven't had a chance to get back to Copper Aborigines because between being off from work, enjoying myself in that regard, and then still doing my regular shows, I haven't had a chance to speak to Copper Aborigines behind the scenes as we had said we would do. So I don't want him to think that Stormy didn't just get back to him. It's like, you know how it is when you're trying to juggle a schedule. So I do intend to speak to the brother. He has some very interesting information that he shared with us during this call, and I know he has quite a bit more to share once we are able to touch base, as we intend to do. And hey, that's, as a community, that's what we do. We stick together out here. You know what I'm saying? I want to say salute to my man Laws D Punch Out TV out there with the super chat. He says, "Salute Stormy, bro. I respect to you, brother. Respect to you, Laws D." Laws is one of the brothers from across the pond, and he's got some very good content on his own channel. If you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to Laws D Punch Out TV, please do so, because the brother be cooking when he decides to cook. I've been trying to encourage him to come on back and make that content, bro, because he had been off the airwaves on his own channel for a minute, but he always has interesting discussions, and he invites panels of guests from time to time, and they talk the sport up very well. So for when people be out there knocking people from the UK, Laws D Punch Out TV is one of the great brothers out there that you don't knock him. You try it out and see that you'll find out that you'll like his content and his material and his discussions on the sport of boxing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. And for my man Lost D. So appreciate you, bro, with that. We had more people out there. Xavier the Boxing Nerd says, hi. What's going on with you, Xavier? Good to see you back for another show. General Squirrels is out there saluting. Sylvester is out there, says, Stormy, what's good? Mike 202, my man, is out there. Also, channel member, says, blessings, Sensei. D. Hodges is out there. He says, what's good, Stormy, in the chat? Excuse me, LDBC, salute. And salute everyone. Yes, sir. And we got a few more people saluting one another. And Eric Jenkins, channel member, is out there. It says, excuse me, Stormy B Man, salute, and the chat. Yes, sir. So we, when we come together like this, man, let me tell you something. First of all, I'm in just about my mid-50s right now, right? And if someone would have told me 20 years ago, you're going to be on the internet and you're going to be having boxing conversations and shows, and you're going to upload videos, and people are going to tune in from you from all parts of the world, because that's what the web is, right? The web is wide open. It's across the globe. And they're going to listen to you and talk to you and share with you their thoughts and feelings on the sport of boxing. You guys are going to come together on a regular basis and enjoy great boxing conversation and content. I would have said, man, how in the world do you figure that? How do you figure that to be the case, that that's where we're heading, Because I'll tell you something. I did not foresee that at all. I didn't foresee it. You couldn't have tricked me into thinking that something like that was possible. So, hey, I'm here to say, you never know what's just across or around the corner or whatever. It's like to be able to come out here and do this and share with you guys, and you guys interact. It's something special, because I'm sure that we all love the sport pretty much the same. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on this thing, right? We wouldn't be here. And I don't think I'm above anyone. I just enjoy it. It's like you'll find me out there in other content creators' chats, cracking jokes, enjoying the content, sharing my stuff. Listen, man, it's great. It's a great outlet. Stress reliever. So for us to be able to come together and do this, it's quite special for me. And I'm sure for some of you, it's quite special, because you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be doing it if it were not so. So smash that like button as you come in, and we get ready to get down to the nitty gritty. But yeah, I thought I'd say that, Gregory X is out there. He says, greeting brothers and sisters. And JC, channel member, out there saying salute to Stormy in the chat. Jeff, the producer, is back with us. He says, Storm, what's good with you, Jeff? And Mark Casey is out there giving us the fist bump. And we got other people saluting one another. So, yeah, man, listen, again, like I said, it touches my heart to get the type of support that we have received, especially when launching something like this, because you can always get the same old, right? But when you have a bit of a different flavor or something like that, people can come around and say, hey, man, that's that meat right there is well done. I think I'll take some of that, where some people might like theirs medium rare or rare. You know what I mean? So that's what this is, and that's how I consider it. That's why I said, for someone like Lost D, that brother's over there. He lives over in the UK. He has a different point of view, but it ties into exactly what we relate to. So why not try them out? Why not go and give a listen? You'll be surprised. You know, salute to Bernard Burton out there in that super chat. And he says, salute Stormy and chat. Salute to you, man. I appreciate your donation to the show and the channel, man. We really appreciate that. Yeah, as we go and look, we could start off by kind of recapping yesterday's events. And as I said, we had the zone card as well as we had the DAZN card as well as the Fox card and PBS card, you know. Oh, we got another super chat. Jeff the producer is out there with another super chat. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you, bro. And or is that a super sticker? I got to get used to the difference between the two. I know I was just accustomed to the super chats, but appreciate you all the same, Jeff the producer, man. Lars D says, was a great chop up yesterday, Stormy OG. Thanks, bro. Yes, it was. We had great conversation. Lars invited me on this platform, and we had some very good conversation about some of the present fighters, you know, and the directions that they're heading. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, why don't you go over to his page and pull up his live stream from yesterday. And Stormybman was a guest on there for a little while. MP WTF is out there, says salute Sensei and chat family. Yes, salute to you, brother. MP has been coming around. Stormy must have struck an ire in the brother, so he comes around and gives support. I appreciate that, man, really do. And for those that don't know, everybody that's in the chat currently, you know, you guys are in there, but you're in there because I consider you family, and you've subscribed to the channel and you show support for Stormybman, and I appreciate that. We have people who kind of like, they have ulterior motives when they want to try to come in your chat and everything, and YouTube has afforded us the luxury of how to control that a little bit better. So know that for those of you who are in the chat and commenting, you're doing that, one, because you're able to do so, two, because you want to do so, three, I appreciate that support from you, because we have people out there that are still subscribed, and they may tune in and may never write anything in the chat, which is a travesty within its own, because when I've supported people, I make it be known that I'm out there supporting them in their chat, whatever. I don't go out there like a celebrity for people to say, hey, Stormy, what's up, Stormy? I salute people and greet them regardless. But we have people that put on airs, and they'll be around like that, and they think they too good to write in your chat, you know, but they be listening to what you got to say, huh? It's just like when a girl with a fat booty walk past, you look, don't you? Whether you married or not, you look, you turn your head sometimes you try to steal a look or peek because your woman might be with you, huh? If you're gonna look, just look, you know, and say, hey, look at that girl, big old booty. You know what I mean? It's like, why are you trying to be on the sneak tip? But we got people like that. And so when they like that, that's why they can stick their butt to the back of the class, huh? That's right. Those who are interested in getting the lessons, and I'm not talking about I'm giving out lessons, but we're exchanging, we're having a reciprocity of information flowing back and forth, who are interested can sit up front and be dialed in and don't be distracted, huh? And the rest can get to the back, if not get the hell out, huh? That's right, get the hell out, because we don't need that. So we got Demetrius Bright out there. He says, salute, family. Salute. Mike 202 says, real talk, Stormybman. Yes, sir. You know me. I'm going to put it down like it is. People might not be a popular sentiment, but you got to tell the truth and shame all the devils. It's not just one. It's a few of them, a lot of them. You understand? Matter of fact, if you a person that reads the Bible, it tells you there are legions of devils. So legions is a number that men don't necessarily put a count on. That's right. That's right. Shepherd King is laughing. He says facts. Terry Smoot Jr. is out there, says prayers. He also says sometimes you just got to look at that. Yes, sir. Got to look at it, huh? And Lost D is laughing. Roderick Freeload is out there, says salute, Brick Brother. I sound like Ving Rhames. Okay. All right. He said you sound like Ving Rhames. Oh, okay. We got some more people saluting each other. And then Snacks B is out there. It says, salute OG, salute to you. And Loco Sports is out there. My man is out there. He just did a recap of the fights this morning. I caught a little bit of it before I got ready to get started on my own joint. But salute to Loco Sports as well. If you guys haven't had a chance to check out Loco Sports, which you should have. I mean, come on. He's one of the brothers in the community, and also drops some fire content along with interviews. So he taps in to the live wire side of the sport. And you have to give respect to people who do that, because they rolling their sleeves up and going to work when they get that kind of thing done. When you have fighters, trainers, promoters come on your platform, it's because they're respecting what you do. So you have to take consideration into that type of process when someone's producing that kind of content for you. Check them out and give them support. Demetrius Bright is out there in that super chat. He says, salute Stormy B, man, supporting the diligence. I appreciate you, Demetrius Bright, man. I know you've been coming around for a minute, and, you know, we really recognize what's going on. I was asked last night on my post-fight show about someone getting wrenches. And one of the things that I want to stress about my channel is I wait before giving out wrenches and everything, but I also watch how people interact with one another and the way that they support the channel. I don't mind giving out wrenches that people who show the same kind of love and support consistently across the board. But I do know that we have people who have ulterior motives as well. So we have to watch out for that. It's just like somebody snuck into the chat last night's show and said something to Tay Jones. And Tay Jones is a brother, you know what I'm saying, with us. And he's doing his own thing as well. And I'm like, how'd that person get in here? You know, it's like, you mean that person actually subscribed to the channel, waited the duration that it takes, and then when he had the moment to say something, because Tay hasn't even shown himself in my chat. I know he's around, but he happened to write in there last night, and here comes this fool just deciding to say something directly to Tay. I'm like, what the hell, man? Do you know that people get up early, sometimes never sleep, just to create chaos and bullcrap? You're a sad individual when you live your life like that. Salute to Simon Bridgman out there. Says, salutations, brother Stormy B, man, in chat. Appreciate you, man, and your donation to the channel, man. Keep it up, man. Love that. Snacks B is out there, kinda loco. Dwayne Jones says, bless up from Atlanta. Bless up to you. And Land of the 216 has joined us again and says, salute Stormy in chat. Salute to you. And let's see who else we got. D. Hodges says, people call me the ops. Well, D. Hodges, I have to say, when you've come around here, you've shown nothing but support and respect here. I can't say about other places, but I'll tell you also, I don't go looking for things like that. Things like that will reveal themselves in time. When you look for dirt, you will find it, huh? There's nothing on this earth that's clean, including you guys and me. We not clean, huh? There's nothing about us clean. We're been told that we come from the soil of the earth, right? So how can we be totally clean? But if you look for dirt, you'll find it. If you want to mire yourself in filth, so be it. It'll be defined. But just know that, and I'm speaking directly to D Hodges right now, that for the time that I've been on the air doing my content and everything, I've never seen you do anything disrespectful or say anything disrespectful, nor have I been looking for that. Like I said, those type of things will reveal themselves whether you're doing it or not, you know? So that's how I see that. Let's see, we got some more people out there. Okay, everybody's still saluting one another. But yeah, just getting back to last night's show, man. I mean, yesterday's cards and events. In the main event for the DAZN card, we saw Zhu Khan taking on Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood was the challenger in this fight. Zhu Khan was the WBA featherweight champion. Also had been off for 2 years. I did not get the chance because I was watching a little bit of pre-card content on DAZN, and they got to talking to him, but I did not hear why he had been out for 2 years. And I didn't know, I have to honestly say, I didn't know much about, you know, what Zhu Khan brought to the division or whatever. But I did know that Wood, coming into this fight, had enlisted the services of Ben Davison to train him for this fight. And let me tell you something about perseverance in boxing. Khan seemed to be one of those guys that's kind of that Estrada ilk. He's a high voluminous puncher. He's aggressive. And he did display that in this fight last night. But Wood was able to, you know, settle him down a little bit. He steadied the course, stuck behind his game plan, which was to pick him off as he came in and whatnot. And Khan was very successful in the earlier rounds with his aggression. But in the third quarter of the fight, between rounds 9 through 12, we saw something happen where I don't know if his conditioning began to waver or if his focus began to waver, or a combination of both. Maybe the time out of the ring, whatever. That's when Wood began to come on. And the fight got tremendously dramatic in the 12th round when he dropped Khan. Okay? And that was the beginning of the end, because it seemed like once Zhu Khan was dropped to the canvas, he got up, you know, took the count, and the fight resumed. But it seemed like at that moment when he had hit the canvas and got up, he just gave up. And after a barrage of punches to follow up after knocking him down, Leigh Wood jumped on top of him, and he offered little to no resistance, and the ref had nothing to do but to step in and stop the fight. So congratulations to Leigh Wood. He's a world champion, and he got a 12th round stoppage. There's nothing like ending a fight like that and defeating a world champion, because it's like that's kind of like a shot in the arm of adrenaline. It's different when you knock someone out in earlier rounds, but in a 12th round fight where you just didn't know where it was going to go on the judges' scorecards and what have you, to have something like that take place, hey, kudos to that guy. You know what I'm saying? He did a great job. But yeah, maybe they'll fight a rematch. I don't know. DAZN and Ed Hearn, they have their own way of dealing with things over there. So we will see what the decisions are and what Ed Hearn has decided and how he wants to handle the situation. But yeah, that was yesterday's fight card. Now, the main event was supposed to be Conor Benn taking on Adrian Granados. And it was revealed that Conor Benn had come down with C19, and so he had to pull out of the fight. Granados was ready to roll and thought that this was going to be a great opportunity for him in a comeback, you know. Hopefully these two guys can get together and, you know, put on, you know, come together and fight at a later date. That would be great if they could do that. And maybe DAZN can stick them on another card that's coming up and make him as a co-main or something, because he was supposed to be the headliner of this one. So we'll see. You know what I mean? But yeah, some of these fighters come out of nowhere, right? And they become champions. And you hear Stormy say it all the time. I say, hey, man, a lot of these guys become titleists before they even learn how to fight. That's why many guys can't hold on and have a reign of being a champion. They change belts like some people change their socks. You know what I mean? I say some people because some of y'all don't have the sense to wash your feet and change your socks every day, just like your underwear. Walk around having the place smelling like must, funk, and Cheetos. You know, get your butt in the bath and shower and take care of that business, because don't nobody want to see that or smell that, you know, or whatever. And I say see that because when you walking down the street and these fools got their pants hanging off their butt and you see their underwear and everything, sometimes you see stuff that you just didn't need to see. You understand? And it ruin you for the rest of your life, if not the rest of the day. So that's what I got to say about that. Anyway. But yeah, so salute to Leigh Wood, man. You know, and it's like, and I call him Leigh because his name is spelled Leigh, right? But you could call him Lee or Leigh, but when I say Leigh, it's like lay him flat, because that's what he did to Zukan. That's why I call him Leigh Wood. That's, if anybody didn't pick up on that, you know, Stormy have to fill you in on what the joke is. So it's like Leigh Wood laid out Zukan. Yeah, I laugh at my own jokes. Yes, I do. So some of y'all do that too, and your jokes don't even be funny. So just know that that's, you know, Stormy being who he is. But yeah, man. What else we got out there? Lost D says, yeah, a good win for Wood, Stormy. And General Squirrel says, these dudes are lying. There's no way these dudes are getting C19 like this. Hey, man, if it's about pulling out of fights or somebody's unhappy with money and things like that, I wish they would not use that as an excuse, because you do the community a disservice. We have this issue that's on the rise, right? It really is. That's just a fact. And for you to hide behind something like that, you know, when you actually have people who are suffering and are being afflicted and everything, man, don't attach yourself to something like that dishonestly, huh? Because it ruins things. It really does. And we've seen it several times over the past month and a half, almost 2 months now, when people have opted to use this as a means of not going through with their obligations. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. One stinking bit, man. And we you know, that's something that we can discuss when we open up the phone lines, and I will open them up in just a moment. I just wanted to get something else about the FS1 Fox Sports card from last night as well, where Michael Coffey in the main event took on Jonathan Rice, who was a late substitution for, again, Gerald Washington, who allegedly came down with C19. So it's like, here we go, right? That's why I said it affected both cards, you know, DAZN's cards and PBS cards, that this situation came up. So General Squirrel says Leigh Wood could mean something else, Stormy. Yes, I know. I know, man. That's why just note, General Squirrels, I picked the cleaner version of saying what I had to say about that. But you smart enough to pick up on it. So, hey, man, I ain't got to say nothing else. Mike 202 says, what about the judging in that one fight, Stormy? 116 to 112. The other two judges had it even. Yeah, man. You know, just last week, Reggie and we did another show on the Friday Night Chop Session segment where we talked about these judges and their scorecards and how they are really pulling the sport in a terrible direction when the fights can be close enough, right, with controversy. But when judges absolutely have it wrong, they should be held accountable for that and actually pulled from matches, judging matches, because that's where you can really make them own up to the decisions that they make with their pen and pencil or whatever. DT channel member is out there, says, salute Stormy B Man and everyone. D Hodges says, Snacks B. Oh, y'all having personal conversation. Okay. And Slide Encounter is out there. It says Kofi got decapped. And General Squirrels is laughing too. Yes, sir, man. Listen, this fight was great because not only did the underdog last minute substitution and replacement win, but he won in emphatic fashion. Didn't have a clue of what to do. Man, listen, that's when boxing is really working well. When you see a guy come in there and put on a show like Mr. Rice did last night, man, he had that jab pumping. He had that right hand behind the jab thumping, and he had Mr. Michael Coffey lumping. Because he was putting it on. Listen, man, I loved it. I loved it. And listen, Rice, who came in, walked into the ring, didn't have a robe on or nothing. He was already worked up a sweat, a real sweat, not the grease that they put on the body and make you look wet and everything. He was sweating. He had warmed up properly. Either that or he was on something, which I ain't trying to accuse him of that at all, but I'm making light. But he came in raring to go, man. And from the first round, he was putting them things on Kofi. And Kofi never made adjustments, man. Never got out of the way of the punches. And you're talking about two big dudes, 6'5", 260 pounds plus, both of them. And when you're getting hit by a man like that clean, yeah, you could have a good beard, right? Boom, you could take a good shot. It'll rock you a little bit, but you say, okay, I can't let him hit me with too many of those. That ain't what Mr. Coffey said. Mr. Coffey said, man, I'm going to walk until he knocks my head off my body. And that's exactly what he did. He knocked his head off his body, man. And listen, we saw the end results because just as the fight was being stopped in the 5th round, I believe it was, Coffey's eye was starting to swell shut and everything because he was not getting out of the way. It reminded me of Danny Dubois against Joe Joyce. That's exactly what it was, all over again. You're not going to move your head? Okay, I'm going to keep hitting it just like it's that bag in the gym. Dude, you got to move your head. Move your damn head, okay? Otherwise, it's going to be back there in the 5th row somewhere. Listen, man, I loved it, man. Upset is great. Salute to DT out there. He says, for the work you put in. Hey, man, I appreciate you, DT. Salute to you, and thank you for supporting the show and the channel, man. But listen, and Rice, he was so animated after he won the fight. He was dancing in the ring and whatnot and everything, man. I was like, look at this cat, man. He's all right, man. And we need more characters like that. If they're gonna be solid in their performances, why not? We'll support it. You know what I mean? Just don't be no guy like Mr. Fury, where that aloofness leads to some other things that are questionable about you ethic-wise. So, yeah. But, yeah, if you guys didn't get a chance to see that fight, man, go back and check it out. Because Mr. Rice, he pulled out a Buster Douglas-like upset. Let me go back a little bit. I got a couple of more comments here. MP is laughing. Slide Encounter is laughing. Snacks B is laughing. You guys are cracking up on what I was saying. Okay. Dwayne Jones says Coffee's former manager, Randy Gordon, is talking mad crap this morning also. Yeah, man. You know, Lars D said, I missed that fight. I will have to go back and watch it. Yes, sir. Jeff, the producer's laughing out loud. And Mr. Pac-Man 216 says, salute, big dog, salute to you. And Laws says, yeah, Daniel Dubois got no head movement. Yeah, and neither did Mr. Coffee. He thought that he was the only one that can bang out of there and got banged up out of there. So, yeah, man, it is what it is, you know. But we're going to go ahead and get ready to open it up for you guys to call in and state your piece on the state of boxing or whatever you got to talk about with the show and everything for today. But yeah, this is, hey, listen, it was great, man. It was great. You know what I'm saying? Great stuff. Let's see who else we got out here. PGH Big Dog is out there. It says, salute, Stormybman. Salute to you. And Jeff, the producer, says, yeah, I like Rice and we'll be checking for him. Yeah, and you know what? He wasn't even at his best. I think, and I said this last night when I was doing a breakdown of the fight, that I think that he could stand to lose another 20 pounds, Rice. But he was mobile and he did some good things in there, and I like what I saw from him. I really did. Salute to General Squirrels out there. He says, support the storm. I appreciate you, General Squirrels. Thank you for your super chat donation, man. Appreciate you. And DT says, Rice was working. Yes, he was. He wasn't playing around, man. He was not playing around. So let me see. I got something that popped up on my screen here. What the hell? I hate when that happens. But yeah, the Lost D says your setup is dope, Stormy. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. I really do. Yeah, the phone lines are open, brothers. So if you want to call in, and I'm sorry, that's why I couldn't see that. I put the number up on the screen. That's just as I was about to put it up there, something popped up on my screen and blocked me, and I couldn't see that the number wasn't up there. And Laws, I'm still working on that about what you told me about getting that U.S. code, because I don't have it yet. I'll try to get it one day this week and find out, look into that. But I appreciate you making me aware of that, because that means only that it gives me a chance to do some things better. So, yeah, I said we got PGH Big Dog out there. Divine Milk is out there. Says, peace, Stormy. Peace to you. And yeah, we're raring to go now. It's like, you know. Sheldon Holmes is out there. Says, good afternoon, Stormy and chat. Salute. Salute to you, Sheldon. Good to see you back. You know, you guys might not know, but I pay attention to who comes around and who doesn't, man. So I do pay attention. It must be a little bit of sleep in the eye of some of you out there, because ain't nobody looking to call yet. But that's okay. We could keep it talking. We can keep it talking. Because just like I said, about that Kofi and Rice fight last night. When heavyweights are doing their business, man, you got to be on your P's and Q's, because all it takes is one shot from a big old heavyweight. You know what I mean? And that changes everything. Who we got out here? Let's see. Okay, we got 305 calling this morning. What's good with you? 305? Ah. I guess he hung up. Or if that was Kano, call back. Call back, because it took a moment for it to come in. Tell, Kano Loco, call back, bro. We had Kano Loco. Tell him to call back. Okay, we got 305 in the building. Is that Kano?
Yeah, but there's a huge delay, because the first time I called, it had already finished ringing, and it sent me, like, user is not available, blah, 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 after it rung a few times.
Okay. Well, don't worry about it, bro. Sometimes, like the very first call, I didn't do that this morning. Like I'll run a test call from my own phone.
Yeah.
And that like clears it, because it's some, like, if it hasn't been operated in a while or something, it's like you have to do something like that, and then like every subsequent call that comes after that will be okay. But just know that when you call for that first time, let it ring, because it doesn't ring right away here. It's like you might ring 2-3 times for you before it ring one time for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, but what it did was it rang. I did let it ring. It sent me away. It said, okay, the user's not available. Boom, 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 boom. So I had to hang up.
Yeah, well, if it does that, and that's for anybody else that's out there, just call back, because this is a web line, so it's not my line, it's a web line. So,
well, I know that. I got your original number. You know what I'm saying? I know.
Yeah. So go ahead, man. Welcome to the show, man. Good to hear you on the call in, man. Thanks for calling in. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Man, what's up with Michael Coffey, man?
Talk about it.
What's really good, man? He come in heavier than normal. Came in very unprepared. Didn't look focused. Looked like he overlooked Rice. And just looked like trash.
Yeah.
And was getting pieced by that 1-2. Like, bro, do you not see this 1-2 all night? Are you not going to do something about it? Are you not going to come up with do you not have a second game plan, a third game plan? Are you not going to move out the way? Are you not going to change your angle? I mean, I'm just wanting to know, man, because, look, I know Michael Coffey probably did overlook this guy, because obviously I know that he was promised either Andy Ruiz or Luis Ortiz after this fight. Maybe a bit of an overlook. He should have handled his business in there. Now, Johnny Rice, of course, Mr. Boxing Today, shout out to him. He's always said Johnny Rice is the type of fighter that will make any prospect look bad, but that doesn't mean he should have won the fight either. He's going to make you look bad, but you have to adapt to it and overcome that. If you want to become an elite and you want to be a contender, you have to overcome things like that. I was very disappointed, Stormy.
Absolutely, man. And what we saw also was when just the fight overall in in retrospect, when Mike threw body punches at Jonathan Rice, he did not respond to that well at all. So why did his corner not see these things? Why didn't they not make adjustments? And the next time he slips a punch will be the first time. Okay? Now, he's been in there beating up, soft touches because they were building his record. He was in there with a man who could hit him back. And like you said, it didn't necessarily mean he was there to win, but he wasn't there to fall down either. You understand? So you have to knock him down. You have to put him down. And I don't know why he didn't opt to try to work behind a jab or whatever. It's just, he looked very amateurish to me, and he deserved to lose the fight the way he lost it, because now he realizes his stuff does stink, and he has to go back to the drawing board. Now we're going to find out what type of fighter he truly is. Last night was a lead into the type of fighter he may be, but what he does coming out of this loss is now going to show us what he truly is, because let me tell you something. A win like that does more for a guy like Rice than a loss like that does for a guy like Coffee, because I'm going to tell you something. This could be premature, but I don't think it is. Coffee ain't going nowhere.
That's not premature in my opinion. And also, I'd like to point something else out. I don't know if you even spoke on it or not, because I mean, you do come on late last night, so I knew you was on. I just was going to bed and stuff, so I don't know if you covered this aspect of it, but I noticed that the corner didn't help him make any adjustments when they saw that Johnny Rice was breathing through his mouth. Okay, so if this guy's already getting tired and he's gassing a little bit, wouldn't you want to come up and say, look, stop trying to do this, stop trying to do that, pace yourself, start, doing some head movements and move out of the way, take him into the 5th or 6th round, because from there I think he could have drowned him. But he just kept fighting the same fight.
And touch him in that flabby body of his.
Yes.
Yeah, because the lights were bright for Rice last night. That's why he was behaving like he was, because he was trying to, it's like whistling in the graveyard. I'm not scared. I ain't scared. That kind of thing. But once he started throwing punches and hitting the guy, and the guy wasn't moving out the way and nothing was really coming back, he gained confidence. He was like, oh, this is going to be easy. And you make it your worst night when you don't know how to make the adjustments. And that's what I talk about all the time. And no, I'm glad you brought that out, because it is something to be said. The lights were bright for Rice, and he didn't do as well as he thought he was going to do initially. Then he found out that there was nothing coming back on the other end. Salute to my man Snacks B out there in that super chat. He said, I just noticed the cell phone showing the chat. That's cool as heck. Just supporting the grind, Stormy. Always great content, bro. Yeah, Snacks B, you ain't never seen that up there, man. That's on some of all the shows I do. I just don't put it up all the time, but yeah, when I want to have the chat on the screen.
The brother.
Huh?
Snacks be the brother, man. You could have said that's cool as hell, man. You ain't got to be that proper. Come on now, Snacks B. I got to give him a little shot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, man, great point there, Kano, because the thing is, if you find that the guy is breathing heavy, maybe the event is getting to him and everything. So you hit him a couple of good shots to the body every round. You tag him and stay out of the way. Move around, tie the guy up, hug him, make him look like you don't want to fight. But the tactic is to get him in some later rounds. You listen, the fight is scheduled for 12, right? Or 10 last night. I think it was scheduled for 10. The idea is to get toward the finish line and finish strong. You see?
Yeah.
Because some guys fight like this, Loco, and you know what I'm saying when I say this. They fight like a bat out of hell, hoping something happens because they're afraid to go the distance.
But you know the other thing, though, Stormy? One last point, then I'm going to let somebody else call in.
Mm-hmm.
Why the hell does this man not know how to clinch?
Because he been beating up on everybody that they put in there with him, and he's training it. He chases everybody down. He bangs on everybody else. They ain't brought nobody in to bang on him or somebody that he can't hunt down or somebody that'll hunt him down. See, you again, when you talk about quality sparring, that's where you get that. You know what I mean? That's why I was laughing about the Fury camp having brought in guys like Jared Anderson and Effie Ajaba, and they was piecing Fury up. This is what I had to say about that. Why would Fury even hire guys like that when he ain't never even fought nobody like that outside of Wilder? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And Klitschko years ago, and that was a faded Klitschko. Okay? So it's like you trying to prove a point by hiring these young studs. All you did was give them young studs the confidence that if they were ever to get in there with you for real, they would handle you. You see? Because you were not legitimately on the level that people perceive you to be on anyway. You're not. He was knocked out by Deontay Wilder in their first fight. I'll forever say that now going forward, especially seeing how they've operated after the first fight and even up to this day. Tyson Fury was knocked out in the 12th round of the fight with he and Deontay Wilder, the first go. But
I completely agree.
But these guys that were training with him, they got a tremendous shot of confidence and adrenaline in their arms and bodies because they went in there and say, oh, this is the guy? And they beat the crap out of him. You see? That's why he didn't want to fight no other contenders. He opted to fight Otto Wallin and that other guy, I forget the other guy's name that he fought in between the fights with Wilder. It's like, dude, you should have been fighting Dominique Brazil or some of the other guys that are out there, Dillian Whites or some other names. Not these guys nobody ever heard of, and you still struggled against them as well. So that's what's happening. And that's what Michael Kofi is a victim of. It's just that it happened very quick for him. Now, see, maybe Gerald Washington, who has a different type of disposition, would have been a guy who, when he got out there from round one, he may have moved away from Mike and let Mike come on and be the aggressor and everything. And Mike builds momentum off of that and ends up stopping Washington. But see, that ain't what happened with Mr. Rice. Mr. Rice came out there, started flipping that jab out there, and then he said 1, 2, and it landed solidly. And he was like, oh, let me try that again. 1, 2, it landed solidly again. He's like, oh, I got something going here. I got me one of them damn double end bags. You understand? And that's what he was doing to him. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I agree with you, Stormybman. But look, man, I appreciate, you let me call in. I had to test the line out real quick. I'm going to open up the line, let everybody else get their gets in. I appreciate you, Stormy.
All right, man, and I appreciate you, man. Have a good one, and thanks for calling in, bro.
No problem, bro.
Peace.
1, 2.
That's my man, Conor Loco Sports, man. Appreciate the brother calling in. For some reason, it's just taking a little bit to disconnect. There you go. It finally disconnected. But I appreciate the call from Conor Loco Sports. Anyone else want to call in, please feel free. The number's right there on the board. And for those of you that are outside the U.S., I have to get the U.S. code to allow you to be able to call in to the call-in show. And as soon as I do that, I will modify the contact so you'll be able to call even if you're calling from overseas or something like that, man. I appreciate that. Salute to my man, Mademan out there. He says, what's up, Stormy B, man? He says, coffee was on decaf. He said, much love, champ. Much love to you, man. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, coffee was on decaf. Yes, sir. What else we got out there? There's some more comments. Some people just laughing. Mike 202 says, I thought that would be Rice down for his gas tank, but he pulled it through. Yeah, man. And I'll tell you something. Your stamina picks up along with your adrenaline. Once you're scoring on the other guy like he was doing, it's like you get into a rhythm. You get into that thing. You're like, oh, man, I could do this all night. Whereas before you was wondering like, man, am I going to be able to go the distance? You find out that it's mother's cooking, as they say. Hey, it's on then. From that point, you ready. You out there tagging the guy and everything. And when you getting hit as clean as Coffee was getting hit last night, you can't go 10 rounds like that. Not in the heavyweight division. You'd be down for the 10 count. That's for real. Yes, sir. What else we got? Nobody else want to call in now? We got the lines are open. Sliding Counter says, I'd like to see Spencer versus Mielnicki next if they can make it. They ain't going to make that right now, man. They got two dudes that they trying to push out there, okay? And both of them are walking on eggshells. So they definitely not going to put them in against each other. They one of them got to persevere. So it's like they ain't going to let them cross each other out. So just watch how this plays out, huh? Just watch. JC saying, fact Stormy. What else we have? Mr. Pazor is out there saying Schwartz. There you go. Tom Schwartz. I couldn't think of his name while I was talking to Loco, but you're absolutely right there, Mr. Pazor. Tom Schwartz. This guy, went and dug up. Who the hell heard of that dude? I thought that was some kind of law firm or something. You know what I mean? And then Otto Valen, salute to BFTB. He said, his dude fighting the otter. And those thumbnails he used to put up with the little otter on it. Man, you guys are crazy. Yeah, me dying laughing. Man, BFTV is the king of the damn thumbnails where he be putting them pictures together. He had me rolling with the one he had AJ and a couple of them other guys, and they always they had the weave on and stuff. They was looking like En Vogue. That's the kind of stuff I used to do in high school. That's why I find it so funny, man. But salute to my brother, BFTV. He be on it, man. Oh, man. Yes, sir. Who else we got out here? The chat's kind of moving on me now. Michael James, 616 says, Stormy B, man, salute family, salute to you. And kind of Local says, come on, folks, call in. It's fun, and it's an opportunity to speak with the host. Yes, sir. Thanks, Loco. Mademan says, Snacks B, salute, champ. JC is laughing. Mr. Pazor says, Fury used so much Vaseline in that fight, it was actually insane. Yes, sir. Snacks B is laughing also. And Laws D says, yeah, I saw that, talking about the thumbnail that BFTV made, man. That dude be making some. I'm telling you, man. He is definitely the meme king. He can do that stuff, man, and just have you dying laughing. Man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, if you guys don't want to call in, man, I don't know what to say. But I know that we got this fight coming up in September where Anthony Joshua is going to be taking on Alexander Usyk. Okay? Now, let me just say this about Alexander Usyk, man. He is not Evander Holyfield, okay? He's not. He's not Evander Holyfield. But for this era, he was the best cruiserweight for the time that he campaigned at cruiserweight. He became undisputed, and now he's moved up to the heavyweight division. We do not have a number of heavyweights currently at the top of the division who are outstanding boxers. Everyone that's at the top of the division, and I consider there to be at least 4 guys that will be in no particular order. It's Fury, Wilder, Joshua, and Joyce. And then if you add a 5th guy, it's Ortiz. All of them have flaws. All of them have issues. But when you take a fighter like Alexander Usyk, who had a pretty decent amateur career and has moderate heavyweight size, I think he's like 6'3", right? I don't think he's over that. If he can box, he can be in fights. If he could take a punch, meaning that doesn't mean that he has to have the chin of Joe Joyce, but if he could just at least deal with bigger men, what will happen is he can give guys that I mentioned problems because of being able to box. Okay? Now, Anthony Joshua has problems with men who are smaller. Quite naturally, the guys that are his size or even a couple of inches taller, whatever, he hasn't had problems with those guys too much. It's been the shorter guys. It's been the little smaller guys. Takam, Parker, Povetkin, Ruiz, Now we have someone who may be better than all of those guys. All of them. In Usyk. That could present a problem for AJ. It could. Because people thought that AJ, and salute to Laws D out there, he says Usyk is going to get laid to sleep, I think, Stormy. Yeah, people thought that the little fat dude, Andy Ruiz Jr., was going to get laid to sleep too. And what happened? Once he started connecting, it was on. Do you think that Usyk can connect? Remains to be seen. One thing you know is he will be in much better condition than Andy Ruiz, And though he may not have the hand speed of Andy Ruiz, he does have championship pedigree. Even as an amateur, he's fought quality opposition. So you do have to take in consideration the man brings something to the table. AJ has been inactive. He's been a guy that's been, enjoying the celebrity of being a heavyweight fighter more than accomplishing things in the ring where he has gotten better and better. I remember when Lennox Lewis was campaigning, and I use Lewis as an example because Lewis has a UK connection, but not just that, being an outstanding amateur. Lewis was able to show you night in and night out when he fought his progression, how he got better. Even as it was happening, you might question, he did that. he did this to that guy. Oh, he should have beat this guy easier. He should have. But what was happening was he was gaining experience and learning how to beat styles. I mean, who remembers him beating up the likes of guys like Henry Akinwande, Justin Fortune, Philip Jackson, those guys? You know, he wasn't always fighting the Mike Tysons and the Holyfields. He was fighting guys in between there, and he was gaining a great deal of experience, but he was progressing. When have you seen AJ progress? From the time that he beat, what's his name? The heavyweight that he first got I think the IBF belt from. Why can't I think of that young man's name right now? See, when you're talking live on the air, sometimes you do that. You forget, names and stuff. They don't just come to you. But he hasn't had any progression since then. Even when he fought Dillian White, and they were kind of in there like rock'em sock'em robots, hurting each other and everything. When did AJ really get better? He wasn't using the jab, where the jab just come out naturally and flowing, huh? He has decent hand speed, but he doesn't use the hand speed when he should use it. And when he throws the right hand from outside, he pulls it back like this. He'll throw the right hand and pull it back. That's a horrible thing to do. Thank you, Shepherd King, Charles Martin, Prince Charles Martin. From the time he beat Prince Charles Martin up to the time he lost to Andy Ruiz, he had not gotten better. The Takam fight, the ref helped him out. Stopped that fight as Takam was starting to fight back. Come on. AJ was getting tired and winded. In the Joseph Parker fight, the ref would not allow Parker to fight on the inside. Anytime Parker got any semblance of being close in proximity to AJ, he'd step in and push them away from each other. AJ never had to clinch or hold or anything because the ref was doing it all for him. That meant that they didn't want the guy to have what's to his advantage, is to fight in close. So you're manipulating the action there as a referee. There are some referees who will let a guy hold you and mug you to death. You think that you need to rent a hotel room, that the guy hugging on you so much. Then there are other refs that will let the action go and yell at you to punch your way out and stuff like that. Move your hands, knock them down, but let you fight on the inside. So with Andy Ruiz Jr., when AJ got within punching range and he thought he was going to, after dropping Andy, he thought he was going to follow up with something, and Andy started firing back because Andy know how to fight. He know how to let his hands go. AJ ain't used to somebody letting their hands go against him like that. He thought that he hit you with something you're supposed to cover up because he's a big 6'6" guy with muscles. Well, in the heavyweight division, man, when people let their hands go, things happen. So, Alexander Usyk, what I'm trying to say in all of this is that he's a more polished fighter than those other fighters that I mentioned. Is he better than them? That's open for conjecture. But he's more polished and more accomplished. There's no reason for him to be afraid of AJ. There's no reason for him to think that he can't compete with the guy because he's seen the things that I'm talking about. And it's like, I want my chance. I want my fair share to go at him. And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to be able to see boxing from inside out, not from outside in. Huh? Now, could he go out there, AJ, and get a good shot in on him early and hurt the guy? Absolutely, that can happen. He's a much bigger man and everything like that. But what I would like to see is for them to go out there and AJ be a little lackadaisical, and then have Usyk hit him on his chin and see what happens after that. Will we see the same AJ that ran into the problems against Dillian White and Andy Ruiz Jr. in their first fight, or we see the AJ who fought Andy Ruiz Jr. in the second fight trying to stay away from the dude? And if he opts to do that, then Usyk definitely has him at an advantage. That's what I'm trying to say. You know? Going back to the chat. DT says, and he moves. Talking about Usyk, yeah, he's mobile. Snack B says, I think Usyk is gonna get him. Don't be surprised, Snacks B, if he does. Don't be surprised. Lost D says, I really do think Usyk will give AJ problems and win some rounds, but I just can't see him pulling it off. Listen, if he could give him problems and win rounds, he could win the fight, Lost D. See, you have to be open to the possibilities instead of closing yourself to the unknown. It's like, okay, you just close yourself down. Who we got here? Let's see. We got another call. We got brother Mademan. Salute to you, 301, brother Mademan. What's going on with you, man? How you doing this morning?
Hey, Stormy, what's up, man?
Hey, man, good to hear from you this morning. I'm pretty good. How about you?
Man, coolin', man. We out here in the DMV getting rained down, man. But easy Sunday morning, man. You know, just like we like it. Real chill, man.
Yeah. What's on your mind,
man,
bro?
So I wanted to chime in on this Usyk and Joshua fight you're speaking on right now.
Yes, sir.
I think this is a very, very, very intriguing fight. Very big threat for Anthony Joshua, in my opinion. And I think that Anthony Joshua, man, he got to go in there and fight the right fight. If he fights the wrong fight, this can very well go left, I believe, for Anthony Joshua. Now, I've been looking at him. I see he kind of slimmed down a little bit, which is good. Don't look like he's going to be this big, bulky muscle man going in there, you know, draining himself of all of that oxygen and getting all tired as the fight goes on. So he looked good, like far size-wise. He doesn't look too big and he doesn't look too small. But what I believe that he has to go in there and fight a fight similar to what Earl Spence Jr. would have to fight against Manny Pacquiao. And that is, of course, coming forward, cutting the ring off at times, and proceeding to beat down Alexander Usyk, and maybe even possibly from the outside. He'll have the reach advantage. I believe that AJ got an 82-inch reach. Usyk is about a 78-inch reach. Use that reach advantage, man. Alexander Usyk, I don't believe will be a big force on the inside. I think that Usyk's best fighting himself will have to be from the outside. I think if he goes to the inside of Joshua, Joshua would be too strong. And if he counters Usyk on the inside, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Usyk is going to try to make it a coyote versus road runner type of thing. You know, meet me here, meet me there. Let me give you a combination. Let me go over here. I just wonder what that fight going to look like going down the stretch in those championship rounds. You know?
Well, yeah, and thank you for those remarks. I think going back to something that Laws D said in the chat, he says that he thinks that Usyk can give AJ problems and Usyk can even win some rounds. Listen, that's a recipe for disaster for AJ if that turns to be true, meaning that he's giving AJ problems and he's winning rounds. That right there is laying the groundwork for a defeat for Joshua, and I'll tell you why. Joshua has not shown the progression as a heavyweight champion that I spoke of when I used the analogy of how Lennox Lewis improved over his career as he ascended in the heavyweight division. Joshua has not gotten better. And for people who think just because he defeated Andy Ruiz Jr. in their rematch that he got better and he fought the fight he was supposed to fight and this and that, right? And that, yeah, AJ, he's shown he can box and move and this and that. No. You all are forgetting one important factor. Andy Ruiz Jr. did not cooperate. He came in woefully out of shape for the rematch, undertrained, overeaten, and all of that, and didn't even give himself half of the chance that he gave himself going into the first fight. And remember, he went into the first fight as a backup fighter. It wasn't like he was training for Joshua the entire time and everything like that. So you take a guy who has a full camp of preparing for you in the right way and everything, getting his proper nutrition and everything, focused. You got a different situation there. And he played keep away against Andy Ruiz. Alexander Usyk is not Andy Ruiz. He's a championship caliber fighter. He has a championship pedigree. He has an amateur pedigree. Do people forget that he fought Joe Joyce, who resembles the same physical dynamics that AJ has? And we're talking about from when they were amateurs, right? But think about it like this. Everybody remember what AJ looked like when he was an amateur? He didn't look like this puffed up guy right here. So there are some things on the table that are definitely there to consider for Usyk in this fight. And remember, we're talking about today's plight of fighters. We're not talking about a generation ago fighters, the Lewises and Tysons and those guys. No, that's today. Today's guys are so subpar, and you hear me say it all the time. People can get mad all they want to. Well, scratch your behind and get glad because it's true. They are not as hard of workers. They don't face the proper type of opposition that will bring the best out of them or the worst out of them. They look for easy opportunities, and they are so inactive that they never get a chance to utilize the skill set that can come forward with being active, where your timing is there, where your movement and your ability to take something and dish things out are on a certain level. These guys spend so much time being celebrities, huh? Well, I ain't known a celebrity in Hollywood that really take it on the chin outside of Mickey Rourke, and you see what he looked like today, right? But these guys, they are of that ilk. And you take a guy like Usyk who knows what it would mean if he could snatch those belts from AJ. Do you know how much glory that would mean for him? That's incentive number one. Okay? If he's able to do that to AJ, he's able to propel himself. Again, if a fighter doesn't have something to shoot for, you might as well not be in there. And let's not forget AJ's last performance against Pulev. Pulev was dying to be knocked out. But it took AJ a series of rounds before he would even attempt to try to put pause on him to get him out of there. The opening rounds and everything, they're dancing around with each other and he's doing this and that. And remember that one point in the fight, AJ was moving his hands like this, like he was Bruce Lee or something, waving his arms, doing the 5 fingers of death style or something. What the hell was that?
I know, right? Shaolin monk up in there. Yeah.
And finally, Pulev, who actually got hurt a round or two before he got knocked out, and AJ could have got him then, he was showing like, I want to lay down. AJ did not help him. When you showed Lennox Lewis you were ready to lay down, within seconds, Lewis was putting you down. That's the difference.
Killer instinct, man. You got to have it.
That's the difference.
Yeah, so, especially in heavyweight.
Yes. And so when you see a guy like Usyk, I don't listen. And some people will look at things and give critique because of ethnicity. I don't look at it like that. I look at it as the fighters, because your ethnicity don't fight for you. It's what you bring, your skill sets and everything like that. And AJ is not that good. He has been able to hold on to these belts by being very inactive. So that's time. Oh, I've been champ for 6 years. But how many fights have you had in 6 years? You see what I'm saying? And it's like, who have you fought in 6 years? Huh? All of a sudden, it's so important now that he fight Tyson Fury. Why? He wasn't trying to fight Tyson Fury before. He wasn't.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden, that's important.
Not to mention one major strategy thing into this fight is that this is the first time Joshua would have been fighting a southpaw since Charles Martin. And remember how Charles Martin got in there and fought him as a southpaw, laid down for the most part. So we ain't really seen, and not to mention, we've never seen AJ fight against an opponent that counters in bunches, that fights with punches and bunches. There's always one shot. People
Andy
fought,
Ruiz
like
Jr.
Povetkin or
Andy Ruiz,
like right. But when he hurt AJ, he hit him with one shot. You know what I mean? It was that one shot that landed on the temple.
Right.
Like,
but when he let his hands go, AJ didn't even know how to block, didn't know how to counter, parry, slip, or nothing. He was just like going backwards up into the ropes until he went down to the canvas. Several times.
And it's like he showed some problems with combination punching. So I'm looking at the fact that him going against a smaller, compact, faster guy that's a southpaw that he ain't seen in over 10 fights, a southpaw, and allegedly he was preparing for Tyson Fury, a tall right-hander. You know what I'm saying? So to have to throw the car in reverse and get ready for a small, compact southpaw, and you ain't seen one in over 10 fights that punches and bunches, it just lets me know that this Alexander Usyk is a certified threat. And this is why I was saying that AJ got to fight the right fight. His punch placement got to be key, because he can be outworked by Alexander Usyk as well. If AJ is coming forward looking for the right opportunity or stuck in a gray area of whether I should go forward, whether I should just lure him in for a big if he gets stuck in that gray area, overthinking too much, Alexander Usyk is going to be punching and moving while he's thinking. And so this is a different dynamic, I think, that AJ hasn't seen in a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the part that makes me feel like, it's like, wow, you know, if you've got, let's just say you've got a horse, right? And your horse is I don't know the terminology in horse racing because I don't follow horse racing, but I'm gonna use this analogy. If you got a stud of a horse, he's a championship horse. He runs with the best of them, and the jockey you got riding him knows how to pull him down through that finish and that stretch. You can bank on it because of the successes that you had in the past. Then you have a horse that has shown well, but sometimes falters a bit or whatever, but still looks good. Who's the real one that you want in the Derby?
The one you know.
Thank you. And you're looking at these two fighters. You're looking at these two fighters. Yes, Usyk hasn't fought the best of the heavyweights yet at the heavyweight division. However, he's still a proven commodity. So when he gets in there with someone, he's going to show that because that's what he knows. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Even in his fight against Chisora, people say, well, he didn't look that good again. But what at the end of the day, what did he do? He won. He won. We just saw an example of that last night. Margin. We just saw an example of that last night where Mr. Kofi showed up, but the other guy won. But it was his showcase. Huh? You see how I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. Where things can, listen, on paper, on paper, it's great. You can put paper on the wall. That's why they make wallpaper, because it can look nice up there. Huh? But where's the real substance at?
Facts. Hello?
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you went out for a minute. That's all. I couldn't. The signal went out for a second.
Mm-hmm. No, but I'm just saying.
Nah, but yeah. What you was, yeah.
So,
you're right. You're right. And those are the things. But let me ask you this, Stormy.
What he's supposed to be able to do in there, and I want to see him challenge.
Can I ask you? Let me ask you. Do you think that the deficiency between Usyk and Joshua is about skill, or more so the physical, like just the size and just the length and stuff like that is the thing that may help or hurt Joshua versus Usyk? Do you think that the discrepancy between these two fighters is just about skill, is whether one is more skilled than the other, or is just one is just more bigger than the other, so that gives them the better chance?
It's about character and what's inside of the guys. And I'm telling you, Joshua has already shown his hand at what's inside of him, and it's very weak. I'm sorry. He's a big, strong, physically looking, imposing guy, but he's not that on the inside. He's not. Alexander Usyk is an accomplished professional fighter who has more skills than Joshua, okay? And that answers your question right there. Now, can the more physically imposing guy do something and put the smaller guy at a disadvantage? Yes, of course. But that's not the law of averages when you're talking about testing someone's intestinal fortitude. If Usyk goes out there and hits AJ with a shot that hurts him, it's going to create doubt in AJ. If AJ goes out there and hits Usyk with a shot that hurts him, he's going to think of how can I survive and get through this to still be able to do what I want to do. Do you understand? It's a difference. There's a difference. You're
leaning more on skill. You're everything you're describing is definitely from the skill standpoint. So,
but don't misunderstand. It's not from a skill standpoint, because you can go in with two fighters that have skills. At a point during a fight, the skill set goes out of the window. Then what happens is a personal desire to overcome, persevere, and to achieve and get the goal at hand. Everybody don't have that wherewithal to dig to that depth, because they thinking, oh, this punch should have hurt him. That's my best punch. It should have knocked him down. I've knocked everybody else out with this. Well, what do you do now? You fight. Yep.
Keep on fighting. Hit him again with it.
And that's what I'm talking about. I spoke about the challenges that fighters have given Evander Holyfield, right? And every time a guy tried to test Evander's heart or his metal or whatever, that substance thing, they got into a fight of their lifetime with Evander. It's the guys that tried to outbox Evander that had more success, because you can trick him when you're using the boxing IQ. But see, that's not just your skill set. That's your ring smarts, because you I don't want to stir up the beast in this guy. I'm just going to lull him to sleep, just let him think I'm not doing much. I keep touching him, touch, and build these points, go back to my corner, sit on the stool, come out and do it again, and never stir him up. You understand? And that's how you can be victorious with a fighter like that. But you go out there and you stir up that beast, he'll knock you out. You see?
So what you
AJ
basically
is
telling
not
me
that
is that
person, though. He's not that guy on either of those analogies that I just given.
So we can't have an end of the
talk like he's talked, like the left jab will win you to fight, the right hand to take you around the world, and all that stupid stuff he's saying, if the bogus philosophy crap. He don't even believe that. He just knows that it's something nice to say in front of the reporters and scribes. You say that, oh, he sounds so intelligent and everything. Well, when has he done it? When has he performed it?
Sound good. That's the statement. Sound. You basically telling me we can't see what we saw at the end of the Andy Ruiz fight when AJ turned his back and all of that stuff and didn't show no one to go above and beyond that point. You know, his body language kind of told us everything we wanted to hear in the Andy Ruiz fight, why the ref stopped it. So that's what you were saying. That moment, he did not overcome it.
Right.
He just
and if Dillian White was capable of being more than what he was when he fought AJ, he would have done it at that time. When when Dillian White hurt AJ and he was stumbling around in there and everything, Dillian White didn't have the wherewithal at that time when they faced each other to take it even to a greater level in the fight. What happened was AJ survived that moment and then caught him later. But it wasn't a thing of like where he, proved his mettle. Like when Klitschko knocked him down, he got up and finished the fight, and then he got Klitschko later, right? Well, yeah, that showed he had resolve to get up from the knockdown. But that's what you're supposed to do. If he had laid there, then we'd be like talking about him like we talked about Charles Martin, who laid there when he put Charles Martin down. You see?
Right.
Now, Charles Martin, I'll tell you something. Realize something. The ridicule and everything that people said about him after the AJ fight, he took some time off, spent his money, and got high and was doing live broadcasts, smoking weed and all of that stupid stuff. But then he realized, you know what? I let myself down. And he went back in the gym. He started fighting again. He had that fight like with Kalnaki, who Kalnaki has got more ruggedness within him than AJ has, right?
Right.
But he fought Kalnaki. Then he realized this ain't so bad. I want another go with this. Then he goes out there and beats the crap out of Gerald Washington. And now he feels like, I want to try this again. There's nothing wrong with that, because that's how you become better when you've had a setback and you're able to put yourself in a situation and come back from that. That's what he was able to do. And you look at that and you compare it to what AJ has done. AJ faked us out in his second fight with Andy Ruiz. Because what he was supposed to do in the second fight is go out there and knock Andy Ruiz out and prove I'm the champ, like Lennox Lewis did Hasim Rahman in their rematch.
Right.
Lennox didn't go out there and box and dance around Rahman for 12 rounds and try to get a decision. He went out there and took Rahman's head off in the second fight to say that was a fluke, that first fight. Do you see the difference in the character?
Yeah, that's an unspoken rule or unwritten rule of the heavyweight division. You don't go in there on no twinkle toes stuff trying to prove a statement, man. This ain't the middleweight division. These ain't welterweights. These are heavyweights. We want to see thunder and lightning. And you got to get that statement across in the land of the giants,
Absolutely.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. But Stormy, I'm going to get on up out of here. I'm going to clear the line, my brother, man. I wanted to call and chop it up with you about this interesting fight. Great points, brother. Great points, man. But very interesting fight right here, man. I just wonder, will Usyk get into the mix and disrupt everything, brother? I really do, man. And I don't think it's a foregone thing that it's a guaranteed win for Anthony Joshua. Not by far.
Absolutely. Especially since he's still so much focused on Tyson Fury.
Exactly. And look, you see Eddie Hearn prior to them making that fight. You see how much maneuvering he was trying to do. He wanted to make sure that everything was checked, and he would have used any excuse he could have used to get out of that situation if he could have. But it is what it is. See how I go. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But I catch up with you later, Stormy, man. I catch up with you later, okay?
All right, man. Thanks for calling, bro. See you soon.
All right, brother.
All right, peace. All right, that's brother Mademan out there giving us a call. Nice call there, great call. Come on, guys, you can make another call out here. Come on in and let's talk this good boxing, man. Let's talk this good boxing. In the meantime, we got Lost D is asking, do you think AJ got a better gas tank now he's come down in weight, Stormy? That would depend on what he goes through in a fight, because a lot of times your gas tank can go empty when your adrenaline is very high and you're feeling the pressure, the magnitude of what you're going through. That saps your stamina as well. Not just the physical exertion, but the moment itself can really play a huge factor in sapping your energy. Slide Encounter says the only bad things about heavyweights fighting cruiserweights is the former cruiserweight has everything to gain, nothing to lose, because if he loses, the criticism on an AJ win will be he beat a blown up cruiserweight. Nah. Usyk, a victory over Usyk is a good victory. Just like if Errol Spence beat Bud Crawford, it's a good victory over Bud Crawford because Bud came up from lower weights. So it's like it's the quality of the opposition. It doesn't matter that they came from a weight below or whatever. It's the quality, because Usyk is in this present day and time considered a quality fighter because of his merits prior to fighting AJ. That's why you don't try to diminish or disrespect a guy's accomplishments before arriving at this point, because what he did in the past doesn't matter that he's fighting right now. But if you diminish what he's did in the past, you only make it a magnifying victory if he defeats you here in the present. So you have to understand how that works. Listen, I'm saying that Alexander Usyk is a quality fighter, and he's a better fighter than Charles Martin, who was a southpaw that AJ was able to stop in 1 or 2 rounds. So it's like, you know what I mean? If he does that to Alexander Usyk, great for AJ. Great. But I don't think he will. Slide Encounter also says, facts, Holyfield had issues with boxers because he had problems with the jab. Well, Holyfield was like a lot of times so stubborn, he wanted to get in there and go to war. And guys who just boxed him, they kept him at the end of that, and that's where they found success with him. And Shepherd King says, yep, he was supposed to KO Ruiz. Yeah, it's supposed to go out there and have a definitive victory, not go out there and dance for 12 rounds like he thought he was the weakest version of Ali that you've ever seen in your life. And still in that fight, when Ruiz tagged him with a couple of shots, he got the hell up out of there. He was like, oh, saw ghosts or something. Lost D says, Martin versus Dillian White is a good fight. Martin wants that smoke. Slide Encounter says, I feel AJ made better adjustments in the second fight versus Ruiz. It's like Leonard did with Duran in the second fight. Slide Encounter, absolutely not. And I just explained on the call with Mademan my thoughts on that. DT says, peace, Stormy B-Man. In chat, gotta go, but wearing my Stormy B-Man shirt. Oh, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. DT has got his Stormy B-Man shirt on today, man. Listen, when are you guys going to go to the link down there in the description and get you some of that Stormy B-Man merchandise, man? Show some support for the brother. I got some good stuff going on out there. Great jackets, hoodies, t-shirts, man, backpacks, baseball caps. Come on, man. We're doing it over here. Yes, sir. Mr. Pazor says, Stormy, if you were a matchmaker and had to order 5 fights of your choice, which fights would you order? And Brown on Boxing just popped in and says, salute, B-Man. Salute to you, Brown on Boxing. Listen, which 5 fights would I order? I would order a rematch between Gary Russell Jr. and Vasily Lomachenko. I would order a fight between Devin Haney and Tank Davis. I would order a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Demetrius Andrade. Yeah. That's the fight they need to have. I will order a fight between Earl Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. And then I'll order a fight between AJ and Deontay Wilder simply because AJ don't want to fight Deontay Wilder ever. He don't want to fight him. And I make him fight him. I'll be like, look, you ain't going to eat. You ain't going to sleep. You ain't going to have no women. You ain't going to have no men, whatever you like on that level. And you ain't going to do nothing until you get your butt in that ring with Deontay Wilder and face your demons. That's what you got to do. You got to face it down and get either thrown down or you're going to win. But this is what you got to do. So those are the 5 fights that I would make. How about that? So, well, yeah, man. We got a couple more minutes. Can we get another call in here? Are you guys too shy to call, huh? We got 78 thumbs up out there. Let's push it to 100. We still got 30, 40 people out here watching. Push the likes up. Somebody call in. Let's have some more conversation here, man. It's like you tuned in. You might as well call in, huh? Unless you just, sitting there like bumps on logs, man. Just call on in and let's talk. Talk some good boxing. Let's see if we can inspire you to call. It's like, how about you guys that think you're waiting for this fight right here? The fight that I say ain't gonna happen. Fury versus Wilder 3. I don't think this fight is gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. Tyson Fury has figured out that he's been able to circumvent rules and policy and everything like that, and he's going to continue to do those things until somebody holds him accountable. And it doesn't look like anybody is holding him accountable at this time. But woe to the man who happens to be the first opponent that gets into the ring with Deontay Wilder after all of this. Because whoever that person is going to have to bear the burden of frustration and hostility that this man has built up over the time due to the circumstances of dealing with this Gypsy King guy. Yeah. That's not a likable situation or scenario to want to be in. Not at all. Not in the least. But I think it is what it is. That's what we're going to, Mr. Pazor says, hey, Stormy, I believe that Fury's wife is pregnant, and I wonder if he will use that as a reason to further postpone the fight if she is due around the time of the fight. Oh, he's been told and ordered by the judge of arbitration to fight Deontay within a certain time frame or retire. He's going to retire. He's going to opt to do that. And the retirement may last a year from the point that he announces it or whatever. And that'll be his way of getting out of the fight. There's no gun. He's out of excuses, okay? He can't ask for extensions. But to honor what the judge told him by, walking away from the sport, he could say he walked away. Haven't fighters walked away from the sport before and come back a duration later and say, I'm unretiring? That's what he's going to do. But I would hope that not only attached to the judge's arbitrary ruling, that if he did opt for retirement, then he would have to compensate Wilder economically. And that's where, you never know what the judge's stipulations may be on that. They may clean that man out for damages, for loss of income for this man, Deontay Wilder, for what Fury wanted to talk about, defamation of character and everything, and how he's behaved and done everything, and Deontay track record is pretty smooth and clean. the damages in court costs alone could make that dude have to come out of retirement and fight simply because the bank will have been broken. Huh? And let's hope for it, because no one should be able to play the sport or the participants of the sport like this man has played and get away with it. No one. You know? It's unethical. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So I'm going to shut down the phone lines. No one wanted to call in beyond the two brothers that we had, kind of Loco Sports and my man Mademan. I appreciate you two guys calling into the show and showing support for the show. I appreciate that. It's been another great show. Even though we didn't have as many calls today, it's okay, because this is something that's growing, and the more people are tuned into it or whatever, the more they'll be more inclined to participate. TJ Sports Nation says he'll retire. DT says Fury look for any reason. Sliding Counter says, I'm guessing with his history of his career being a fighter, he'll retire. Fury doesn't seem to take boxing that serious as others. Mademan says, facts. Yeah, man, we will see. We will see, man. But I hate it, though. I hate that the brother Deontay Wilder was trying to do a good thing, and this ended up, being a horrible thing that put a lull on his career and everything. It's just like going through a bad management type deal or something, man. It's just been horrible, the entire thing. But, again, it's been a valuable lesson for all of us, for all of us. But, yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, you guys. I appreciate everyone that came out and showed support for the show this afternoon and late morning. Be blessed. Have a wonderful week. We'll be back again next weekend. Hopefully we can gain up a few more calls on the show. And, we got some fights coming up next weekend as well. So this is Stormybman. I'm going to get on up out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to go and get me something to eat because the brother is hungry. And we'll see what's shaking. If I have to raid the fridge or if I'm going to have to go out. But this has been Answering the Bell, the call-in show with Stormybman. You guys know what it is. We'll catch you guys next Sunday. Peace to everybody. Have a wonderful week. Okay. Peace out.